I've come out today to a place called Whiteleys Wind Farm, which is on Eaglesham Moor, about 10 miles outside of my hometown, East Kilbride. And I'm back home, well, my birth town home, for a few days to once again pick up the management of my dad's estate following his passing last May. And I think this is maybe my 7th or 8th trip home in the last 10 months since he passed last May, in order to try and manage all of his possessions, his house, and everything that comes with it. And I don't really have a massive message for you today, other than to say, I'm feeling, I don't really know what I'm feeling about this. I think this will be probably the last trip to the house. Everything of substance has effectively now been cleared, and that has been quite draining to do. And I've managed that myself with the help of Yvonne and with a couple of friends that have helped me along the way in the last number of trips. And I spoke previously on a video about feeling the weight of possessions, my own items. And now, in amongst all of this, I found myself in the eye of the storm of dealing with my dad's passing, and really just not understanding everything that would need to go into managing that, from just, the house, his car, utility bills, his savings, all of his personal possessions, everything, just trying to manage every single aspect of that. And so I've come out to this huge wind farm, one of the biggest in Europe as far as I understand, for some air, just to get away from East Kilbride for a few minutes and to come and have a walk in amongst nature and stretch my legs, breathe the fresh air, and just take stock of everything that I've managed over the last months. If you have lost a parent and you know what it's like to manage everything that comes with that process, then I'm sure you can relate to maybe my feelings on this right now. But the house is now in a state that it can be surveyed. In Scotland, you have to have an energy survey, just another one of these wild policies that before you can sell the house, you've got to know what its energy rating is. So that'll be done tomorrow, and then the house will be photographed, and then it'll be ready for sale. I have very mixed opinions on this. Yvonne and I had talked about potentially buying my father's house and us moving back to Scotland to live in it. But I am not the only executor in this process, and as such, we haven't been able to reach an agreement between us. So it will go on the market, and that will satisfy everybody's requirements. But, the house was my father's for over 50 years, so I feel very conflicted about seeing it go. But I would say the process of managing that over the last months has become easier. So, if you ever have to go through this, or you're going through it now, it does get easier. All of the real personal possessions have been taken care of, and as you start to get further down this journey, the items just become less and less important. And obviously I live 350 miles away from here, and I only have a car, so I can only take so many things back and forth, and my own home is starting to become filled with now my father's possessions, things that I just can't bear to part with. And also my dad loved to keep many of my own items, so I've been going through things in my dad's house and finding old school books of mine, my first ever skateboard, game console items that he had in the loft, our first suitcase from our first ever holiday. And so you're trying to weigh up what needs to stay and what needs to go. And I just can't take it all. So as heartbreaking as it is, I've donated as much of it as I possibly could to charity, and the rest of it I've had to unfortunately put in the bin. I went into a charity shop today and offered them some furniture, and just the answer was no, they just weren't interested. My dad was an avid photographer and he documented absolutely everything, and so I've kept what I can, and other items have just had to go, unfortunately. So, you know, this is just part and parcel of people passing away and their items being left behind, and suddenly somebody else has to make a decision on what those items mean. So I've been here for a few days. I feel drained. Could probably burst into tears right now if I'm being honest. But I think this may be my last trip north for a little while. I feel like everything is taken care of as much as it needs to be. And tonight, however, to put a smile on my face, I'll head into Glasgow with some friends and Yvonne. Sorry if I'm choking up here. I'll head into Glasgow tonight and I'm going to go see a band. I'm going to go see a band called Pantera. Now, if you're any kind of metalhead, you'll know who that band is. They're playing at Glasgow Hydro, which is a big deal. It's a big venue. And I'm going to go there tonight, scream at the top of my lungs, sing some songs. And what sticks in my mind about that is 32 years ago, almost to the day, my dad dropped me and a schoolmate off at Glasgow Barrowlands to see Pantera at the tail end of their Cowboys from Hell tour, right before the big album Vulgar Display of Power was released. And I've still got that ticket stub, and I can remember the excitement of getting dropped off at the Barras, my first ever gig at the Barras to see a band, Pantera. And it just blew me away, absolutely rocked me. I'd only ever been to one concert before that, and that was Metallica. And so my dad allowed us to go. I was 15 and I was allowed to go with a stern warning of, be good. If you're good, you'll get to more. And if you do anything stupid, that's the end of it. So that was the mantra. That's what I lived by. Be good. And so as I left the gig, sweaty, soaking in sweat from being in the mosh pit, like just getting shoved around as a 15-year-old with my mate, locked in arms, just going crazy at this gig, came outside, drenched, in a February night, and my dad was sitting outside to pick us up. And tonight, go back there to see that. So, no major messages today, just that story. And I'll finish on a high point. On Valentine's night, oh Christ, my nose is running. On Valentine's night is a bit of good news. I birthed a kidney stone. A little 4mm jaggy sucker popped out. So the good news is that's one out. That might allow me to evade the need for surgery. However, I am told there's 3 to go and I've no idea where I am in the process with them, but I'll go back to the hospital and get another scan, and that should tell me whether I need the surgery or not for now. But that is it. Kidney stone gone, Pantera tonight, Dad's house taken care of, and a little trip down memory lane to think about it. Have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video.